and fix your street.
Yeah.
That's what you feel. But there's a lot of people, they think like that. If my life personally is not going how I'm supposed to, it's the president's fault.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think
Stupid?
There is that? Because but then there's also like, local elections. We never hear people talking about that.
Yeah, they don't go to that.
They never. I'll give you an example. In my neighborhood, I'm zone rule. So there was a 18-wheeler being parked on the grass. And I saw the 18-wheeler parked on the grass. I was like, dang, why would you do that? That's so ghetto. And so I called code enforcement, as they had been doing it for like 2 weeks. And so the lady was like, yeah, we heard about that, but we zone rules, so it's okay. It's not a problem with that. But clearly, I wasn't the only person complaining about that. So about a week to 2 weeks later, the city council passed an ordinance that made it illegal to park that 18-wheeler on the grass. So the change in our neighborhood and the change that everybody wanted happened in a 2-week period with local government.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And there's people out here complaining about the system. You don't know who your city councilman is. Nope. You don't know who your mayor is. Nope. You ain't never been to no city council meeting before. You know none of these people. You don't even know the state representative that covers your area, but you out here angry.
Yeah.
And you complain, but you not even participating in this system that you mad about. It's just...
It works your nerves. It works your nerves. I'm at the point like the lady you just played. I'm not interested in trying to convert nobody. I know I shouldn't say that, but I don't care if you vote. I'm gonna vote. I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do. I'm not sitting up here gonna argue with nobody, man. She already has a mind made up. That's her. She do whatever she gonna do.
Right.
I'm not gonna sit up here and do that. I'm not gonna dignify stupidity with that debate. And that's why I tell people online all the time. People say social media messing with my mental health. Well, why are you going back and forth, people?
Correct. Get off.
Get off. You're grown. Block. You know what I'm saying?
Now, I want to play one more video. Then, Lab, I want to talk about, speaking of the social media, I want to talk about something on your social media. But first, take a look at this last clip.
Black women in Chicago were asked if they like Kamala Harris, and this answer ripped my face off.
No, she's half black, not fully black, but it'd be cool to see a black president, a female black president, but I'm definitely voting for Trump. Let's go, Trump.
If you look at her past things, and maybe 10, 15 years ago, she identifies as West Indian.
She does.
The only way that she's identified as African American is right now, because she wants the voters, but she doesn't give a fuck. Where was she at in these past 4 years that she's vice president? What has she done for us? Can you say one thing that
I didn't even know she was the vice president.
Let's go, Trump. They're having Megan Thee Stallion twerk and all of that because they think that that's going to make us vote for them. And that will never get my vote. Twerking, Megan Thee Stallion, first off the song that she was even saying is very ignorant.
This perfectly popping shit is described as crispy.
Woo! I don't know who the hell thought that Megan Thee Stallion was a good look. I just feel like that was a play from Joe Biden playbook when he had Cardi B vouching for him. So, so that was the other half of the WAP sister, if you get it. You know what I'm saying?
Like constantly being ran, not knowing that
Stop it.
People can create Instagrams. People can pay people to like put things in front of you so that you can believe it. So it just makes me feel, and I'm coming to you and talking about
agility or the stamina to stay up all night and to listen to.
White dude got up and say, hey man, I'm here for the Jews. I just want to make sure the Jews is this. The backlash would be crazy.
It would be crazy. It doesn't make any sense.
It would be crazy. Clearly half of the country is racist. So if he got up there and said that I'm only here for the Jews, he would lose half the country immediately because we know that already.
Yeah.
So, and let me say this. Come here. I don't know if y'all can zoom.
Yeah, zoom in.
Come here. Let me tell you something. I think we deserve reparations. You'll never get a president of the United States to ever come out and campaign on giving black people reparations. He would not win, or she would not win. It will never happen. Even though I think we deserve it and we need it, that's not going to ever happen. So when I hear them say that, it's stupid.
Yeah.
It's stupid. You don't know my politics. You don't understand. That'll never happen.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question, because people are also talking about Michelle, which is crazy to me. And I think we've kind of had the conversation about other things like Black people say they want this thing, but Michelle is like the most well put together, intelligent, beautiful woman. Exactly. But you have people calling her monkey and like all this.
You know what, man? Let me tell you something. If you a black person, if you a black dude specifically, and you calling Michelle Obama monkey and transvestite, you are a trash human being. You are a fecal smear of an organism. You really are, man. It's ridiculous because what you're doing is you're aligning yourself with white people because they started that stuff racist. White people calling her that, and then you're going, yeah, I agree with you. And it's stupid. Why would you do that? Yeah. And regardless if you agree with her husband's policies, you cannot not deny that the Obamas are very classy. Yeah. Very classy. You know what I'm saying? So it makes no sense for you to do that.
Absolutely. Now I want to play one more clip for y'all and get your reaction on it. Let's take a look at this clip.
This shit off
the damn Democrats at the DNC are crazy as hell, shouting they're not going back. Hell no, I don't want to go back to open borders, high food prices, high gas prices, high inflation, high interest rate, can't even buy a damn home. Why? I don't want to go back, Kamala. That's why I'm not voting for you. I'm voting for Donald Trump. And who in the hell had agility or the stamina to stay up all night and to listen to Joe Biden? Joe Biden and all his damn lies. That's all he did is scream. It's more louder than I'm screaming right now. Man, I got to give y'all props that y'all stayed up to watch Joe Biden. I thought that he might throw down and say something against the Democrats for orchestrating a coup against him, but no, he stayed on script line about Donald Trump and his lying ass. I'm tired of Joe Biden. I'm tired of Kamala.
I have my own thoughts. I just need to take a moment. I felt your Go ahead. It's Florida.
First of all, that S and that T kicked her ass.
Kicked her ass.
It kicked her ass. She couldn't get that S and that T out.
She had an obstruction. You had an obstruction.
Oh, yeah. So there's that part. And then thing number two is, see, this killed me. When people talk about stuff, they don't really know. Mm-hmm. When you talk about the interest rates and all this stuff right here, first of all, interest rates and all this is
comedy hype that I'm listening to, y'all.
And then interest rates now.
Yeah, I'll go see the whole video. I'm just doing a little snippet.
They're coming back down under Biden. So when you talk about food prices, again, all those things happen because we had a pandemic. That is why those things shot up. Exactly. Every time that you don't want to go back. First of all, they're talking about going back to these policies that were hurting you. So you got a problem with going back, but you don't have a problem with making America great again. Mm-hmm. And when America was great again for white men, your ass was in chains. Yeah. Your ass couldn't drink out of certain water fountains.
Exactly.
Your ass was a second-class citizen. That's the great America that they talking about that you all gung-ho to vote for. Hey, if you don't sit your goof ass down somewhere.
And they don't understand, it's ridiculous because, like, you know, I'm telling y'all before, like, you know, I know a dude who said, they ain't did enough for me. I still got potholes in front of my street. Self-Negro. What you think, the president's supposed to come down and fix your street? Yeah. That's what you feel? But there's a lot of people, they think like that. If my life personally is not going with how I'm supposed to, it's the president's fault.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think
stupid?
I still got potholes in my street. Lord have mercy. Oh, I gotta let that play because they get ready to bring that home.
There is that but then there's also like, you know, local elections. We never hear people talking about that.
Yeah, they don't go to that.
They never. I give you an example. In my neighborhood, I'm zone rule. So there was a 18-wheeler being parked on the grass. And I saw the 18-wheeler parked on the grass. I was like, dang, why would you do that? That's so ghetto. And so I called code enforcement, and they had been doing it for like 2 weeks. And so the lady was like, yeah, we heard about that, but we zone rules, so it's okay. It's not a problem with that. But clearly, I wasn't the only person complaining about that. So about a week to 2 weeks later, the city council passed an ordinance that made it illegal to park that 18-wheeler on the grass. So the change in our neighborhood and the change that everybody wanted happened in a 2-week period with local government. Mm-hmm. Yep. And there's people out here complaining about the system. You don't know who your city councilman is. Nope. You don't know who your mayor is. Nope. You ain't never been to those city council meetings before. You know none of these people. You don't even know the state representative that covers your area, but you out here angry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you complaining, but you not even participating in this system that you mad about. It's just...
It works your nerves. It works your nerves.
Facts at 100%. And I'm gonna keep it 100. You know, I'm just getting on board. I mean, I'm middle age, I'm near retirement, and I'm gonna honestly say that in my 20s and 30s and maybe my early 40s, I wasn't on point with what the local government was. You know what I'm saying? It was always about the president, because one, I'm young, I'm racing through life trying to figure it out. I'm shaking and baking, and you know what I'm saying? But as you settle down, you mature, and you got a better vision because things leveling out. You done found your money maker. You kind of settled into a marriage lifestyle, family oriented. So now, you got kids in college. So you're looking at everything across the board now. Because I think you have time for one, and you more in tune now. So, I think that's kind of like the reason. But because of we're in the age of the information era, uh, there's no reason not to be informed, if you wasn't before. You know what I'm saying? Because everything is right there at your fingertips, everything right there. Your phone is your computer. Your walk around computer, it answers everything. YouTube take you back in time to whatever time you want to go and discover history, and what have you. It's a beautiful day in technology in this day and time to be able to absorb all the information that you would like to absorb. Now, I hear intellectual people often say, don't confuse my degrees with Google, you know, because Google gives you everything, the answer to everything, and AI is making it real easy for students now, especially on the college level. They got to write papers and all that. Now, all you got to do is scan pages, and them pages will read you the pages back. And now you can use or AI voices, like you can, record your voice or Snoop Dogg voice and have the pages read back to you by AI, by the computer. You know what I'm saying? If you don't feel like sitting it, reading, you can have the book or whatever text you're reading read back to you. And you can, like you reading the audio book, and you can multitask by having the pages read to you. Come on, man. Like I said, I really believe that no, homework in general is easier than it was back in the day because of the internet and computer tech, period. Things you could do in the quickness, with the quickness. And uh, I remember studying with a dictionary, the almanac, encyclopedias, the sources, doing homework over the years, you gotta start it in school, you know, and by the time you get home, you like in the middle of it. You get home, you do what you do after school, and you probably up at 10, 11, finishing up. And that was a full day right there. After getting up about 7 to get to school by 9 o'clock, a full day. Now, homework for these kids, which would maybe take you 5 hours max, is like 2 hours. So now they gotta bombard you with a lot of work to keep up with how easy things are. So now they just piling it on, So because these kids are there, it's too easy now, or it's more easier to access the answers to questions. You can, So now they're making it. You have to read the text. You just can't get the direct answer. You have to know the theory. What's like for instance, when a child done cheated on the test because the answers are all right, but then you tell them break down the answer, break down the you know like for math, you putting all the right answers, okay, but they say show me your work. How did you arrive at this answer? It's right, but how did you arrive to it? You know what I'm saying? So that's the breakdown that the kids can't do. So therefore, they're making it where you have to read the literature to answer the questions because they know the questions can be easy answered. So they nowadays the curriculum is more kind of slick, you know, more challenging because it'll answer a question inside of a question, like I remember doing a life skills examination and uh, they called it electives. So basically you had a group of work inside, like you got chapter one and you got 5 exercises. Then you got chapter two. You got 10 exercises. It's like, you know, like who made up all this stuff. And once you got through it, you feel good about it. But I think it's all designed to challenge you. And what's crazy is you don't use half of the stuff that they make you learn. But you don't know where you're going to end up in the world and what you might have to use that you'll be equipped to use. I mean, if that makes sense. So, you know, uh, I was told and I witnessed sayings, a wise man seek to know all. A wise man is just not limited to what he know and what is his surroundings. You want to go out of the vicinity to see and explore other things. So, that's for anybody, you know what I'm saying? And this is what's so great about these devices because at your fingertips you can tour the world within imagination. Like my history teacher used to, Miss Harrison, and I was just talking to my son about her, how she was the one that was talking about investing in condoms in the 80s. And I remember a conversation with my mother saying, well, I think people had big families back in the day because it was no birth control, you know. And so when they started making the pill and condoms, and so forth, now they got the shot you could take now, the women, so yeah, so uh, so before protection, you just letting that thing fly, and you may, you know, make a child, and you may not. So, so that was kind of the way it was. So I don't think nobody consciously was trying to make 15 kids, you know, but that's the way it was, you know what I'm saying? And the only way to prevent that is not getting none, you know, or, you just doing a straight, anal, you know what I'm saying? You hitting it from the back all the time and not, having to enjoy the comfort of, a woman's vagina because you scared that you're gonna get her pregnant again. So I mean, it's just me that think about stuff like that because I'm always comparing, my grandmother had 12 kids. My grandmother and grandfather had 12 kids. I come from a big family. And my son is always comparing, like, we make more money these days, but yet things still so high that you can't afford it. I say, well, we make more money, and that's why they raised the price of everything. So everything was cheap because it wasn't a lot of wages being made. So whether it's back then or now, 12, 15 kids is 12, 15 kids. You're going to struggle in any era if you don't have money and you trying to take care of 15 or 12 kids. My grandfather had 3 jobs to take care of 12 kids. You feel me? He was a carpenter. He did construction. You feel me? And he was a musician. So he had all that going on. I'm sorry. He was a carpenter, construction, and cab driver. You know, and you know, I think he played the horn a little bit. They had a little band, but that wasn't like a really. I think that was a hobby. You know what I'm saying? And and then back in the day, you know, uh, you know, everybody really didn't go out to clubs like that back in the day. They were. I know my mother was part of a card club, meaning that it was a group of ladies and they gave card games every Saturday night and they were rotated. And all their guys, like husband and boyfriends, and everybody would get together and come over that person's house. And that person would make, some change, meaning the car party they played for a couple of dollars and you know and just for hosting the game, you were donated a couple of dollars and, you made food. So people want to probably donate to your, food bill for buying the food, cooking the food, and serving the food. So everybody made a little change for hosting a card game. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So you might have had a dice game going on, and I know my people from the country, North Carolina, from down that way, I know they probably was bringing up the moonshine and, and, somebody be like, hey, man, next time you go down, bring me something back, and I got you. So that's how we was creative of getting by, making a little change, and so again, I tell people choose your lifestyle wisely, meaning control the narrative of how many kids you making, because for a man this is a killer of a lifestyle. If you want to live a lifestyle, I recommend you do not have over 3 kids. I'm just saying. You do what you want. You know, you like to go out to dinner, you like to go on vacation, you like to travel, you like to engage in events and activities. Ain't none of that going on if you having over 3 kids. I'm just keeping it 100. I'm just keeping it 100. You know, I'm living in real time of economics, and and I was faced with these decisions, between my 2 marriages. You know what I'm saying? You know, my first wife, she had a son already, and then we had a son. So it's 2 boys in our family. Our sons, and my wife was like, okay, I want to try for a girl. I was like, okay, cool. I tell you what, if God give us another boy, that's it. We ain't having no more kids. You know, my man, the singer Jeffrey Osborne, has 7 girls, and his last child was a son. He wanted a son so bad. He had 8 kids, but this man, an entertainer. He toured the world singing and, getting fat checks. But an average Joe can't do that. And I don't advise you to do that. Because you're literally putting yourself in the poorhouse. Because all these kids got to go to school when they grow up. You feel me? So if you can't afford to send these kids to school when they grow up, you can't afford to have them now at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? We're not in the 40s or 50s where it's no contraceptives. We got condoms. They got the patch and the what the women put on them to keep them from not having kids. You can get snipped as a man. You can get your tubes tied as a woman. You can practice safe sex by using condoms and taking the pill. So it's no excuse now to be reckless having kids you cannot afford. I stated in the last video, because I want people to get it. You can make it. If mommy and daddy out earning a living and bringing home substantial money, you can make it with 1, 2, or 3 kids. You're a family of 5. If every, mommy and daddy, we pulling together, we could do this. We're not living outside our means, just having what we can have, and you know what I'm saying. You can live a nice, modest lifestyle, but anything after that it's gonna be real bumpy. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, whether it's 1950 with low wages and everything cheap, or 2024 with high wages. People are making a good wage, but everything is high. So how do you maneuver out here? How do you make it out here? Okay, average person working 2 jobs is usually the man. If you married, your girl, you got a girlfriend, okay, she work 1 job, you working 2. This is how the average family making it at the end of the day. Everybody is doing what they got to do. And they being strategic on, both individuals don't need a luxury car. You want to treat yourself, So, mommy and daddy don't need a luxury car piece. You have an everyday get around car, and then you have a nice little luxury car. Whether it's, if you all under one roof, it's your car, it's our car. So therefore, you don't need to be having 2 luxury cars, paying almost $2,000 in insurance and a car note. One of them cars need to be paid for while you paying for your luxury joint. You know what I'm saying? So in this day and time, if you're not strategic and realistic, keeping up with the Joneses is not the ticket. Do what you do is within reason of your finances at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Just like what's going to bring me to the topic of the night. Who you voting for? And the answer is who is going to represent your need. Okay? For me, who talking about reparation and mean it and going to do it? If it's Trump, I'm going to vote for Trump. But if it's Kamala, I'm going to vote for her. Who going to represent my need? All this Democrat, Republican, they in the same boat. They in a conference room together laughing and eating coffee and donuts, drinking coffee and donuts. They all together. And then they come out into the public and they, going at each other. It's political theater, y'all, at the end of the day. Who is going to represent your need? Okay? So let's break that down. Let's unpackage that. On a norm, Democrats is representing the poor by providing alternative this benefits, after school program, before school programs, low income programs, and this and that, trying to help the people, motivate them and get them jump started. I think the Republicans, the old grand party, the grand old party, they on some, if I make 400,000 and better, I'm about you figuring it out, tie your boots up and with, I don't know that saying, lace your boots up and walk in the mud, something like that. Anyway, basically they about you holding your own. You are your own help. They ain't about for real giving no benefits. They ain't about you figure it out. You know, I used to hear teachers say, well, I got mine, you got to get yours. I think that's the ideology of the grand old party. I got mine, and you got to figure out how to get yours at the end of the day. So because nobody gave me nothing, I'm not giving you nothing. And I think somebody need a little help sometimes. I talk about why college is so expensive, and I had a solution to that. Go back and, I forget what video it was. I talked about, you know, if you went to a 4-year program and got a degree, you need to pay tuition back for 10 years at $500 a month. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you shouldn't have to die with a college debt. I just feel that's wrong, just all the way around. If you do a 2-year program and get a degree, you need to pay 5 years of $500 back to your institution or to the system. I think that's reasonable because we can make money to send to Ukraine and anywhere else in the world while we holding education hostage, and people can't afford to go to school. They can't afford to live, but yet we can't. So now we got to come up with forgiveness and all this and that. Like, come on, man. This is not rocket scientists to how to allow citizens to get ahead. But the obstacles are put in place for the determined. So if you're lazy, if you're not enthused, you're not going to make it. And that's the setup. So if you overzealous, you motivated, you determined, that's who's going to make it out here. The person that got that hustle in them, the person that got that grind, that determination, that focus, that discipline. You feel me? In a way, I agree with it, but, I'm just saying, I'm just expressing my opinion. Then I feel like everybody that's rich that done made it, you know, for whatever reason, your talent, or whatever that allowed you to make it to millionaire status, come back to your wherever you from at least 1 month out the year and donate back. If everybody did that, our neighborhoods would be better. Meaning, I remember when Riddick Bowe won the heavyweight championship for 3 years, 3 summers, he had a buyback of guns. He gave anybody $100 that brought guns off the street to the precinct, no questions asked. He probably gave out $5,000 each summer for 3 years. Now, just think about, okay, I live in D.C. Who is the big time celebrities that's from D.C.? You got Taraji Henson, Wale, Raheem Devon, Johnny Gill, Stacey Lattisaw, Kevin Durant. And we got other athletes that's on the basketball level and football level. Chase Young. Who else? You know, if all these celebrities, Katie Ledecky, Kevin Phelps, Phelps, the swimmer. If all these guys came back to their community and did something like that, help the homeless, uh, like I said, do the gun buyback to get weapons off the street, have food drives for the homeless, let's feed these homeless people. Let's try to get them into social services programs, you know what I'm saying? And this will be a tax write-off. So it won't be nothing that you missing. So this is what care look like. Go back to your community and help. Try to set up trade programs because now the city keeps saying we don't have the budget for people to go to trade school to learn a trade. Now, I'm vocational. When I was coming through in 88, in the 80s, when I got in high school, 12th grade, we had the vocational programs in full effect. Skills pay the bills. That was our motto. So if you didn't go in the military or go to college, you had to learn a skill so you can get out here and get a job and earn you some money. So I tell people, while you was in school running up that you owe, I was getting money. I was a bricklayer. I didn't stick with that career because I was afraid of heights. You feel me? So I had to pivot and figure it out. I went through many jobs trying to find my niche, and I figured it out. I'm 28 years in my employment. And I tell people, stop worrying about the job itself and focus on the benefits. Like, for instance, coming through, I worked at McDonald's. It kept money in my pocket. It kept me off the street. But people feel like they so cool and they so important that, oh man, I can't have the hood laughing at me because I'm in the McDonald's uniform, or you think you all that, you gotta rep the uphold, people look up to you. You know what I say to that? You broke. You broke. How are you sensitive and you from the belly of the beast? How are we so sensitive and we from the belly of the beast? We from nothing. But we so sensitive. The hood make you hard as nails. But you so sensitive to what somebody's saying. See, that's what it is. We get so caught up in the profiling and styling, Now, mind you, I done had the ability, fortunately, to travel the world a little bit. I've been to Jamaica, in the slums of Jamaica, where they living in huts. Like Wyclef said, I made it from a hut to the ghetto to a mansion. I ain't in no mansion, but I understand what he's saying. If all our ghetto kids, if we could take them to Haiti, places like Jamaica, Brazil, not the tourist areas, but the real areas where people live, and see how they live in little shacks and huts. Our ghettos are mansions compared to the huts and the little spaces that these people live in. I witnessed with my own eyes families living in tent huts in Jamaica. I went up in the local areas. I left the tourist area. These people, they ready to stand on their head and sing and dance for you. These people there, the Jamaicans, I wanted to go to Kingston where Bob Marley was from. The cab driver or the driver, you know, was like, I'm not taking you there. You should not go there unless you're with somebody that has some juice, where you're going to be protected because they got respect or whatever. That's what the guy told me. He said, well, I could take you into the village, the local areas, I said, well, take me up there. I rode up there and I was so humble. I said, wow, this is the stuff you see on TV. You know what I'm saying? And the little kids that malnutrition and hungry. I ain't see that with nobody, but it was damn near close. It wasn't no houses with running water where I was at in the village, So I can imagine going to Africa and going in the village, you know what I'm saying? No electricity, no running water, you know what I'm saying? And somebody had a old box TV, a black and white jump. I don't even know how I was running. It had to be running off of batteries and not electricity. And we talking 2003, we talking 2003 when I was in Jamaica, you know what I'm saying? So it was crazy, man. So when you travel the world, you kind of see what you see, and you see how everything different. So what I say all that to say is our ghettos are not the ghetto from back in the day. I remember coming up, look at the old New York and how a lot of ghetto spots were abandoned buildings and slums and trash and all that. That's the slums. Okay. We had that in DC, rundown buildings and stuff like that, and we were living in these conditions until the conditions got better. Or, we strategized how to move to a better area and upgrade, and you know what I'm saying? So back in the day, ghettos and slums is definitely not today's ghetto and slums. Cause the hood now, everybody got a color TV in their room. It wasn't like that back in the day, for sure. All the kids got 50 level shoes, designer clothes, whether they knock off or they real. Wasn't none of that back in the day. When you was busted back in the day, you were busted. And how you got by is the family sticking together and sharing everything. Hand me down, cousins, when you outgrew clothes.